we've been able to do analysis of traits and attitudes that are tightly associated with negative emotion. Self-consciousness is indistinguishable from negative emotion, which means, like, it's indistinguishable. In fact, in one of the major personality trait measures called the Neo-PIR, one of the early big 5 personality dimensions, self-consciousness is a facet of negative emotion. That's how tight it is. It's the same thing. So what it means is, and this is very germane to your point, if you're thinking about yourself, you're miserable. Those are the same thing. And so then you might say, well, how do you get out of that? And you can't get out of that by not thinking about yourself. That's just going to backfire, right? So if you're anxious and you go to a party and you think, I'm not going to think about myself, and that's all you're thinking about, like you're dead. I used to treat my socially anxious clients, say, go to a party and do everything you can to make other people feel comfortable. So I would explain to them what I just explained to you, but I would say, that doesn't mean you can stop thinking about yourself. It means you can start only thinking about what you can provide to other people. And that was invariably an improvement on the strategy that they had been using. But this is so crucially important, you know, because we are so reciprocal as human beings that you are lost if you only serve your own whims. It doesn't work in the long run. It alienates people. It produces a life that's devoid of meaning. It makes you anxious and isolated. And it makes you self-conscious and miserable. And so it is the case, as we alluded to earlier, that perversely enough, the best possible thing that you can do for yourself, all things considered, over the longest possible run, is to work as hard as you can on behalf of what's best in other people.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this the last time, I forget, it was a couple of years ago, I think, but I was talking, or you asked me what makes a good SEAL, like what makes a good SEAL, and I said, well, it doesn't matter. Look, you got to be a good shot, of course. You got to be in good physical. All those things are important. You got to have the skill set. But far and away, what makes a good SEAL is someone that puts the team before themselves. That's it. That's the thing. And if you're the best shot, you're the fastest, you're the strongest, but you have yourself above the team, I don't want you in my platoon. And no one wants you in the platoon. That's the way it works. So it's interesting that psychologically, if you're focused on yourself, it's going to cause problems. Either the problem of egocentric arrogance, or the problem of like paranoia, or what you just used to describe it. I mean, when someone's just focused on
self-consciousness.
Self-consciousness. That's the thing that when I see people that are self-conscious, I was like, hey, you know who notices that you have a zit on your cheek right now? You. No one else cares. No one else cares. No one's. It doesn't matter. When you walk into a room and you feel like you don't have the experience to be in a leadership position, the person that's thinking that is you. It doesn't really matter. Now, if you go in and try and overcompensate for that by saying, listen, I just graduated from college and I really know how to execute this stuff, you're going to get crushed. Because you're trying to make up for the fact that you actually don't know what you're doing. And everyone knows you don't. You just got here. So we know you don't know what you're doing, but we don't really care about it. So we don't see it as
we just
negative.
care if you think you know what you're doing more than you actually know.
Then it's a problem.
Yeah, then that's definitely a problem.